What's up, guys? Thank you so much for checking out my YouTube channel and in today's video. And in today's video I wanted to show you or kind of tell you why I haven't been posting and making content for you guys. And it is because, and I'm going to try to show you guys here if I can move my camera, but don't mind my messy room. But I have a cast on my leg, and the reason for that cast on my leg is I was cutting, I was working in Willow, and I was just limbing logs, and my chainsaw my chainsaw bucked, and I was using my my left foot to hold down the log, and the saw bucked and cut my foot, and my foot was a good maybe I want to say at least 3 feet away, but it was just enough where when the saw kicked up, the saw just raked right across the top of my foot, left a pretty mean gash all the way down to the bone. It cut my main tendon from my big toe and ended up, cutting the tendon and hitting the bone. So it was immediate. I had to get, transported to the hospital. And right away, right when I cut myself, I looked down and saw the cut in my boot, and I was like, oh shoot. So I shut my saw off, and I had earmuffs on with a cord running to my phone. I had music going, and so I quick took all that off and called over to my boss, who was standing 10 feet away, and I'm not going to give out his name, but he was standing just a little ways away, and I was like, hey, help. And he looked over and saw what happened, and he was like, walk over here to the house, let's go into the house, and get you sat down. And I kind of was trying to take my boot off to see what kind of had happened. I was wearing muck boots, like they're thick rubber boots. They were insulated and kept my feet warm, which I liked using them in that way, just to keep my feet warm. And I had big overalls on, big snow pants. And it was pretty chilly that day, so I was just warm and had bulky clothing on. And so I was trying to take my boot off to see what had happened. I pulled my foot out, saw the huge gash, and immediately started feeling weak. And so I kind of tried to, I slid my foot halfway back in, and my boss was calling to me to, AJ, come help, run over here. And I took like one step with my good leg, and my foot immediately exploded in pain. I was like, oh, no, I said, I can't, it hurts too bad. He goes, okay, sit down. So I sat on the ground, and then he immediately started calling for his wife, and she came out, with a first aid kit. And they were able to wrap me in blankets, get me up off the ground on a little foam mat, basically, and they covered me with a bunch of heavy-duty sleeping bags and blankets. And there must have been like 6 or 7, thick blankets, as well as a big sleeping bag on top. And called my folks. My dad was in Tuckheaton, where we live. He was actually at work, so he was like 10 minutes away from my house. And then my mom was in Wasilla, which is was roughly about an hour-ish to away from where I was. So my mom and my dad were separate directions. Called my dad right away, and he didn't pick up his phone, so I tried calling my mom. She picked up, and I didn't really want to tell her what happened at first, just because I didn't really want to worry her and have her freak out or something. And then I tried calling my dad again. He didn't answer. And then I called my dad's boss, and then he was able to hand the phone to my dad. And he told my dad to give me a call. Dad called me and was basically like, okay, you're gonna be fine. They're gonna call an ambulance. You'll be in the hospital. It'll be fine. Mom will meet you at the hospital. And at the time I was like, no, I don't want to call the hospital. I don't want to call the ambulance, because I knew I would get a big fee, and I had kind of forgotten at the time, just with adrenaline, and I was kind of freaking out a little bit. I was like, no, I have insurance, it's fine. So was able to call the ambulance. Dad told my boss, yeah, go call the ambulance right away. And they came in within 10 minutes. And the entire time, my boss's wife was kind of trying to take my mind off of it. And I was like, okay, think, if you're on a sandy beach and nice warm sun, walking with the Lord. And that was awesome, because that really helped. I was able to take my mind off what was going on. And my boss actually was an EMT. He's a retired EMT, so he knew exactly what to do, and he was very calm and kept me calm, which was very, very good. Very thankful for him and his wife for what they did. But the entire time I was just like praying. I was like, Lord, just help me. I don't know what to do. Help me out here. And he did. he definitely did. He stayed there the entire time. But ambulance came. I actually knew somebody on the EMT team, which was pretty cool. So he's I have acquaintances with him, I guess you could say. I'm not really like best friends with him, but he's more my friend now than he was before the accident for sure. But so yeah, but they were able to come get me, and then the EMTs and the ambulance were very nice as well. We had conversations. Actually, one of the EMTs was driving, and the other one was sitting right there talking to me. We had big conversations and talking about motorcycles and dirt bikes the whole way there, which was pretty awesome. But yeah, so that's basically what happened. I just want to give a big shout out to my boss and his wife, and if they're watching this video right now, they'll know who I'm talking about. But they are very very grateful to them for what they did and keeping me warm and keeping me from going into shock. I wasn't bleeding too bad. I mean, of course there was blood, but it wasn't like it was coming out rapidly. It was well maintained, and my boss was able to hold the wound shut, so more blood wasn't coming out. But definitely, I'm very grateful for what they did for me. So big shout out to them. And I will insert a picture of my gash, not it open. I will insert a picture of it sewn back up. But yeah, the picture that I'll post right here. You can see, the stitches are right there, and that's how long it is. And it was at least, I'm gonna say at least that wide. It was at least, I think he said it was 3 inches long and about an inch and a half wide was the cut. So yeah, it was pretty nasty. And when I saw it in the hospital, it definitely gave me like kind of not queasiness, but I was like, whoa, okay, that's really, that's pretty nasty gash. And even the doctor was like, oh man, ouch. But yeah, thankfully they were able to sew it up, and the doctor said I should have full use of my foot and my toes and stuff like that, and I can just start to move my big toe again. The other toes are fine. They kind of hurt to move a tiny bit, but yeah, so far I can move my big toe just fine. So he said I should get full use of my foot back. Thank the Lord, and I am very happy that the Lord saved me from cutting my foot completely off, and yeah, definitely thankful to him that it was not worse, and that I'm still walking around and I'm still here today and able to make stuff for you guys. So, but yeah, so that's basically what happened, and that's the video for today. And I hope you guys liked it. And if you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comment box. I would love to hear from you guys. I love getting comments from you guys. So, but all right, well, yeah, like I said, hopefully I will be making more videos soon, and we will see you on the next one. Catch you later.